Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today, hopefully you can hear me because it's windy, but we're going to talk about perfection and why it is really isolating, really jarring, unattainable. It just causes a whole bunch of problems, especially striving for perfection. Perfection itself, I guess, isn't that bad, but the pursuit of it can be very detrimental. And as a perfectionist, I can speak for that really well. I'm currently sick, and obviously today isn't the perfect day to be filming a video like this in the wind, that kind of thing. Again, I really hope that you guys can hear this because that'll be really embarrassing if you can't. But I was thinking, I'll wait to do this video until I'm feeling better. My throat has, recovered from shouting and screaming and singing, and I feel just a little bit better and I look more presentable. I have a whole bunch of acne and stuff I'm dealing with, so that's why the headband is on today. But then I figured and I realized that the whole point of making a video about perfection and why struggling for perfection is a real issue, it makes sense to do that video just whenever, no video is going to be perfect. There's going to be little flaws and insecurities and problems, and that's life. You just got to deal with it. So that's why I'm making this. So don't make fun of my appearance and how I look like living dead. But anyway, yeah, I have found that the pursuit of perfection is, first of all, unattainable. You're never going to reach it. And it causes a lot of stress and anxiety, and you're trying to figure out why aren't I perfect? And then when you inevitably fall short, you always leave yourself wondering I could have done that better. If I had done it better, maybe they would have liked me more. Maybe if I hadn't said this, or I had done that, or if I had put it in this way, or if I had filmed the video in front of something pretty, or, there's a million things you could have, should have, and would have done better had you thought of it. But the idea that we are not perfect is really freeing, and it allows you to just go, wait a minute. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. Problems happen, and at the end of the day, I'm just going to try my best, give you my thoughts and my perspective. Found a pretty little spot to do the video in, so I figured, why not? So yeah, that's what we're doing. I grew up very much striving for perfection. My parents didn't really demand perfection. They weren't like the tiger parents that you see sometimes on reality TV shows and things. But there was always, of course, the expectation of doing your best. And I think I definitely took that as striving to be perfect, which is not what my parents were wanting. My parents are the kind of people that I come home with a C+, and they'll ask, oh, did you try your hardest? And I'll be like, yeah, I tried so hard. And they're like, well, that's great then. And so they really wouldn't judge based off of perfection. They would judge on was this your best effort? And if it wasn't, then it was okay, well, next time try harder, try work better. And my psyche and my internalized monologue always took that as you have to be perfect, you need to be perfect, which is not at all what the goal of my parents were. But I don't know, I'm a Virgo. I guess that means perfectionist, and I very much do strive to put my best foot forward. I think that has been difficult in social media and in everything that I do, in the property management, in the farming, because you can try your absolute hardest, especially in farming, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It comes to the weather, it comes to the crops, it comes to circumstantial things. A lot of stuff is out of your control. And it makes you realize that a lot of stuff in life is out of your control. There are so many factors and things that you just have no control over. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Your parents could get sick. You could fail this thing or get hit by someone taking a wrong turn. We have so little control. Or you get sick, like me, can't plan for this stuff, and then it just happens at the worst possible time. So realizing that, I don't have control over all of these extenuating factors is quite liberating. And it really just comes down, and this is the crux of my argument, it really just comes down to trying your hardest, just like my parents wanted. It really doesn't matter what the end result is, because the end result is going to be whatever it's going to be. What matters is the effort and determination that you put in at the beginning. And you'd be surprised, by just putting in that effort and determination, most of the time, whatever goal you're trying to achieve is achieved. It might not be the exact perfect thing that you wanted, but it will be a version of success and a version of exactly what you wanted. And that's all that matters. I think it's really funny. There's always those kids in high school who do super well just without trying. And it's always interesting to see those people get to university, because no one's holding your hand in university normally. And those people do one of two things. They either continue falling upwards and succeeding and just doing the best without having to do any effort, or they become the most humble people ever, because they get proven like, oh, you actually have to work for this. You actually have to put in the effort. And these people tend to either drop out or seriously get their act together very quickly, because what you do in a specific situation won't apply to every situation. So what worked in high school probably is not going to work in college, probably is not going to work in university. You might have to switch it up. You might have to change your study habits. You might have to actually open a textbook once. I swear there was this one guy in one of my classes, and he would just show up not knowing that there was a test, and he would do the best in these tests. And it used to drive all of us absolutely insane. Thank you very much. So perfection is not something that you can actively attain. You can aim for it, but you can't have this like expectation, or you can't be upset when you don't reach that, because it's called perfection for a reason. It's not really supposed to be attainable. And if you have an honest opinion and an honest judgment of whatever you've done, it won't be perfect, because you're going to say, oh, well, it came off amazing, but I think in the future I'm going to do it this way. Whenever I make a new recipe, a new baking recipe or whatever, my family might sit down and we might eat it, and they might go, oh my God, this is the best carbonara I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice to hear. Next time I think I'll do it a little like this. And they're like, what? No, this is perfect. And I'm like, no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling my food perfect. But I do want to critique it and make it a little bit better. And, and so if you're being honest with yourself, perfection is impossible. If you're being truly honest with yourself, there's always room for improvement, room for growth, trying new things. Sometimes it's not necessarily you want to improve something, but you just want to do it differently. Like I will make bread or something, and my parents seem to think that I make bread amazing, and I love them for that. But every now and then I want to change it up and try cinnamon raisin, or do this, or do it with brown sugar instead of white sugar, or, there are experimental interests, and I'm curious, and I want to see what I can come up with that's a little bit different, even if everyone claims, oh, it's so perfect. And it's like, okay, thank you, but I want to switch it up. I want to do something different. So that's kind of the idea behind striving for perfection, and how it can be a really difficult thing to achieve, and it can be really hard, and you will be on this rat race chasing perfection for the rest of your life if you decide to obsess over it in that way. So going forward, this is my little oath to myself, if you will. I'm really going to try this month to not necessarily strive for perfection, but just try my absolute best, see where it gets me, focus on my goals, focus on the people that I care about, and not worry so much about trying to look perfect or to have this perception of perfection and doing everything flawlessly. Because I feel like sometimes people have that perception of me, and I think on social media I'm starting to see that a lot of people are kind of like, well, who's the real you? And that's a really good question, and I don't really know how to answer that, but I do want to try being a little more, not necessarily authentic, because I feel like I am quite authentic, and that's my real house, and this is my real garden, and these are my real opinions and thoughts, and this is what I actually look like. There's no filter on here. So I feel like I am quite authentic, but I do like this is a good example of I'm feeling quite sick. I'm stuffed up, my throat hurts, my eyes are sore, I feel puffy, you know, and normally any other day of the week, I would not be making a video today because I want to put my best foot forward and I wouldn't, you know, I don't want to show you guys this. And so now I'm trying to be just authentic, and I'm not striving for perfection. I'm striving for authenticity, realism, and connecting with you guys and trying to allow us to talk about these things without stigma or like prejudice, because a lot of that is very present on social media. So this is me trying to not be perfect. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what your thoughts are on perfection and striving for perfection, and how did your parents or your guardians or the people in your life, how did they interact with you when it came to trying to be perfect or trying to be, you know, this amazing golden boy or golden daughter or golden person? Let me know, because I'm curious. And as always, guys, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.